You cannot shame the shameless. And that's a statement I have come across so many times on my socials. And it got me thinking about today's topic, shame. Well, I want us to understand shame as a mentality and not as a personal failure like most of us have been made to think. So, without wasting time, let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome to Anything and Everything. My name is Essie for those who are joining me for the first time. For those who are joining me again, welcome, and please guys make sure to like and share this video. For those who haven't yet subscribed to my channel, kindly hit that subscribe button and also follow me on all my socials that I'm going to put somewhere on the screen. So, shame. Andrew, I want to explain to you about the evolution of shame before I even start explaining anything else. And so that you guys come to understand that shame is the most human emotion to exist. And it starts with the early humans, so roughly around 200,000 years ago to 12,000 years ago. And Charles Darwin's work in the 1800s came to understand emotion as an evolved social emotion. It was an emotion that was required for as a survival mechanism. Well, you see, early humans used to live in hunter-gatherer groups. Like it was the only way that ensured survival. Being alone out there meant death. It meant you could die from hunger, from harsh climatic conditions, from predators. But staying in a group ensured that you get to survive. So shame was more of don't do that or you'll be excluded until morality came around. So, what is shame? Shame is a painful emotion about believing that you're fundamentally flawed, bad, or unworthy of love and belonging. It is an identity emotion that stems from constant negative evaluation about the self. It is you constantly putting yourself down. It is you criticizing every little thing you do. It is you being afraid of putting yourself there. It is the fear of trying to be visible. It is you belittling yourself. And I want you to understand something that shame is not guilt. Guilt says, I did something bad, and shame screams, I am bad. Now, there are different lived experiences in which shame develops and becomes toxic. And I have 4 points with me, and I'm sharing all of them. It's easy. So on to my first point: trauma from abusive homes and relationships. So I want you to think of a family dynamic where kids are constantly being criticized for every little mistake they make. I want you to think of a kid who has just run to their parents to show them something they made or something they can do, and then they were constantly shut down. This is imagine a parent who constantly needs every little thing to call a kid, or every little chance to call a kid stupid, useless, or loud. So this teaches a kid, you know what? Being seen is dangerous. No one wants to see us. Think of those relationships where the partner wants to be in control of everything, or they're constantly putting you down, telling you you can't do this, or telling you how useless you are. I want you to think of those partnerships where your emotional needs are being neglected. You know what that tells the brain? Tells the brain that, oh my God, something is wrong with us. You kill that self belief. Point number two. So we have bullying and public or social humiliation. Most of us have experienced this. I'm sure. Like once in your lifetime, I'm sure some of us have experienced this. And even me, talking about it is a trigger. We've experienced this in school, in at work, at any social event, and it's a trigger because there is evidence. Neuroscience shows us that the regions of the brain activated whenever you're being bullied or whenever you're experiencing social humiliations, it's the same regions of the brain that are activated during a physical injury. So bullying is not just it's not just emotional. It's an injury, and it wires shame more deeply than any private pain ever could. It's the constant attack on the appearances, your intelligence, your gender, your race, your interest. It's being publicly excluded or set aside. It tells your brain that you don't belong. You're not supposed to be here. Point number three, religious boundaries. Now, I'm sure this point is very sensitive and delicate, so I'll try and be as respectful as possible when discussing it. So, religion, don't get me wrong, is healthy when it offers structure, when it offers meaning, when it offers accountability. However, it becomes toxic religious shame whenever it is an attack on an identity. I want you to think of all these human impulses that have been labeled or deemed as sins. I want you to think of anger. I want you to think of sexuality. I want you to think of curiosity. And guidance is often not provided. What is provided is direct attacks or these teachings of punishment, of judgment, of threats on being excluded from the religion that you love so much, or exclusion from a community that you have come to create here on earth that gives you meaning and reason of why you're here. Now imagine that same community excluding you. It tells your brain, oh my God, you were created wrong. You are bad. You are not worthy of any of that love that the other people in your community are getting. Point number four. Uh, I want to social expectations. I mean, that topic is self-explanatory. I mean, in the current world, there have been so many unrealistic standards which have been set. We have standards on beauty, success, masculinity or femininity, productivity. We've all been set apart, and those are the things that are now deeming us who is worthy or who is not worthy. They're checking race, they are they are comparing status, and whenever a person realizes that they cannot meet up to these expectations, shame kicks in, and suddenly they don't feel worthy. They don't feel that they should be able to sit at the table with other people. And if there's one thing I believe is no one is different. We're all human beings. We are meant to sit at every table with anyone. We are meant to interact. We are meant to make our connections humane, not prim and proper. And just like I said, all these experiences are what shame toxic because it leads or makes you go into hiding, makes you isolate, it makes you have a low self-esteem. Because remember, what these experiences are telling you is that they are creating that fear of being seen. They are telling you that you cannot be visible. They're telling you that putting yourself out there means danger, it's a threat. And one thing about our brains is that they're always working to protect you. So if the first time you are actually hurt or injured, the next time you won't even try it. So it makes you a chronic self-monitor. So you're always aiming for perfectionism. It makes you a people pleaser. You're trying to maintain the peace. It blocks your creativity and expression. Remember, you can put yourself out there. You're culling away somewhere because of this shame. And after a while, this shame starts to eat away at you. Because one thing about it, only suppress it for a while. From then, it starts controlling you. It becomes this demon that will just won't let you go. And within time, you're falling into depression, you're falling into anxiety, you're engaging in addictive and destructive behaviors. And worry not, because it's not the end of the world. I'm here to provide you with tips. Here's the thing about shame, it is not born inside us. As Louise Hay says, shame is something that is taught, reinforced, and repeated. And the best part is that which is taught or learned through relationships and culture can be unlearned through awareness, compassion, and connection. So, tip number one, naming it. Naming it is the awareness that it is present. It is recognizing that trigger which makes you want to quickly hide away or curl away or hold back that work which you are about to show the world. Naming it takes away its power. It's you deciding you're no longer identifying that it's just a feeling and it is allowed to just pass. Tip number two, exposure therapy. What do I mean by exposure therapy? It is putting yourself out there or knowing you're going to be rejected or doing that one thing that you are so afraid of doing. Exposure therapy is allowing yourself to be seen, even though you might end up with a rejection or a critique. Because here's the thing about life, sometimes we're rejected and critiqued, sometimes we're accepted and praised. And never for 1 second identify with those emotions. They do not seal your fate. It's just a passing situation, experience. And exposure therapy helps you get comfortable with yourself, putting yourself out there or expressing yourself out there without having to think so much about the outcome, without thinking so much about what to expect. Number three, nervous system regulation. This is, okay, let me first explain. Shame is somatic. What do I mean by somatic? It means that shame is stored in our bodies. If you've gone through social media, you'll hear they say that women store shame around their hips. Well, like I explained before, shame is stored in the body, because the brain is attempting to protect you from a prior threat. So if you've constantly been living with shame, your body has learned that it is not safe. So for the brain to protect you, what does it do? It reminds itself what to do. So yes, you might be working to deal with that shame using all the other ways, but the most important part is ensuring that you get rid of it, get rid of the memory of shame from your body. How do you do that? There's breath work, there's grounding, there's subtle movements like walking and yoga. Yeah, is voice activations, there's humming, getting comfortable with hearing yourself talk or standing up for yourself. And my last point is self-compassion. Here's the thing, you heal shame by never abandoning yourself, by not abandoning yourself. So it is choosing yourself every time without feeling guilty. It is loving yourself no matter what. It is choosing to believe different about yourself. You see that energy and focus you have on negative self-talk. I want you to shift that focus and use it on positive affirmations about your life. Do better for yourself. Give yourself grace because you're still learning. No one has a manual to this life. So stop beating yourself up. The mistake you made should not hold you back anymore. And I know all this is not easy. It's not easy. We're just telling you or giving you tips and telling you, do this. It starts somewhere. And you're going to sleep so many times. And this is why I said grace. Give yourself grace. And love yourself always. And as I end my video, I want to shift my focus to those human beings who've made it their lives' mission to belittle, to mock, to criticize and humiliate other people. You're not better than anyone. We're all flawed. We have all done something bad. We have all been rejected and criticized at one point in our life. So just be kind. Doesn't cost us. Hey says we are always perfect, always beautiful, and ever changing. We are doing the best we can with the understanding, awareness, and knowledge we have. When we gain more, then we will do things differently. So thank you guys for watching this video, for staying with me till the end. Hopefully you grasped something. So see you on the next episode, and remember to live, learn, and laugh. Ciao!